So we're back with another Acceptable Casualties battle report. Today we have the Battle of Bougainville. No real lists, no point value, just a bunch of Marines storming the beach. We'll be back in a second. Neil's going to give us a little rundown on how the scenario is going to play out, and we'll just take it from there. So we'll be back in a second. Alright, so we're back for the Battle of Bougainville. Neil's going to give us a rundown of the scenario and how everything's going to play out. So Neil, the table is yours.
American intelligence in the Solomons, of course, was not very good because there are lists. The Japanese have about 1,400, the Americans have about 1,700. The Japanese have a bunker line on the south side of the island. Unfortunately, we have 15,000 guys on the north side of the island and only one company here. We are dug in. We have one bunker with a 75mm gun, and we have machine gun nests. We also are backed up by a company of infantry, or I'm sorry, a platoon of infantry with reserves coming on. Rabaul will be scrambling fighters to our defense, so very soon the Japanese Imperial Navy will rule Empress Augusta Bay, and the Americans will rue the day they messed with us.
Alright, so we'll be back in a second for top of turn one for the Marines, bringing the planes, bringing the big guns. Let's see if we can put a dent in this defensive line. So back in the flash. So we are back for the top turn one for the Marines. On this turn, our landing craft had minimal drift. We were pretty lucky on that. I think it was like 1 and 2 moves for each of them. So we kind of all landed on the middle of the table and dismounted 2 platoons of Marine infantry and 1 platoon of some light mortars. We also got the plane in back over here. We got 3 dice on it. That was the only shooting that we had. We were able to pin that platoon that was right there. We got 1 hit on the knee mortar, but Neil ended up making a 3-up save. So we've taken the beachhead. Now it's time for us to probably just eat a bunch of heavy machine gun fire. So we'll be back next turn. See how the Japanese hold the line. Be back in the flash.
Back next turn.
Back for the bottom of turn 1 for the Japanese. On this turn, Neil opened up with all the machine gun nests along his defense line. He has 2 nests on the opposite sides and then the 1 bunker in the middle. Between all that fire, he was able to peel off 1 base from each of the infantry platoons, and as you could see, our mortar platoon was completely shredded to a man. We had nothing left with them over there. We also forgot to do our boats last turn. Both of these got bogged down, so they'll be stuck on the beach, and we were able to get 1 back, which is probably going to bring in another mortar platoon to try to fill this gap over here and give these infantry platoons some support when they do the assaults. So we'll be back in a second for the top of turn 2 for the Marines and see if we can push a little bit further up the beach. We are back for the top of turn 2 for the Marines. On this turn we had the 1 mortar boat ended up coming back on, but we rolled a 5 or a 6, so we had to wait out in the ocean until the currents kind of calmed down a little bit. For my Marines, I pushed them up 6 inches off the beachhead. I had about 9 shots all together, but I needed 6s to hit, and I rolled I think like 5 or 6 5s, so nothing worked out on that. And then we had a naval bombardment. We had our observer who came off on one of the boats. He was able to range in up over here. We got 3 hits on the infantry teams, and we were able to peel off 1 and kill him and still keep that unit pinned. So right now is what we're looking at here for the Marines, getting ready to kind of make an assault on those trench lines. We'll be back in a second for Japanese bottom of turn 2. We're back for the bottom of turn 2 for the Japanese. In this turn, Neil was able to unpin his rifle platoon that's strung across the that bunker line right there. Between the machine gun nests and the rifles, he was able to pin both units, and I think Neil had, what, 3 casualties out of the rifle teams, I think is what it was, somewhere around. It's like 2 or
3 on the red and 2 on the white.
Okay, yeah, so they're starting to pluck away at these guys. Hopefully I can get them up the beach and get an assault off next turn. But yeah, Japanese look like they're whittling these guys down right now. So we'll be back in a second for top turn 3 for the Marines. We got some boats that hopefully come on the beach and give us a little bit more support, so we'll be back in a flash.
They are pinned.
Yeah, they are pinned. So we are back for the top of turn 3 for the Marines. In this turn, we were able to get 2 of the mortar boats get on the table. Our other one ended up rolling, I think, a 5, so they're just kind of floating around out in the ocean. We were unable to unpin these guys right here, but we do have the one I see who came off, so hopefully we'll be able to help them out next turn. I failed to dig in as well, so they're just kind of stuck in here, gone to ground at this point. Over here, I moved up the one Marine tune I was able to unpin, fired a bunch of shots over here. I didn't get one hit, but I wasn't able to pass my firepower test. And then up over here, we were able to get the support ships, the cruisers and destroyers, to drop a template over there. We ranged in, we got 2 hits, or 3 hits, Neil made 1 save, and then we failed 2 firepowers to end up plucking those guys out. So this is what we're looking at here. Bottom of turn 3 is coming up. Neil has reserves coming in this turn, so hope we can get these guys a little bit of support in the front line. We're back in the flash. So we are back for the bottom of turn 3 for the Japanese. On this turn, Neil was able to get in one of his platoons coming off that back table edge, so they're going to probably make their appearance in this battle in about a turn or 2. Plus at the double with the Japanese move through cover rule, so they'll be getting here a little bit quicker. In the shooting phase, you unpinned as well, didn't you? These guys were pinned? Yeah, so Neil did unpin. So with shooting from the rifles, from the bunker nests, from everything down there, they have heavy casualties over here on the middle platoon of Marines down here. I think I lost like 3 or 4 bases this turn. The units pinned down here. These guys are still pinned down here as well. Neil's plane is still being held off, just waiting to take out our bird in the sky. So we're back in a second for top of turn 4 for the Marines. Hopefully we can start getting a little more up this beach, and we can get that other rifle platoon in here to help support these guys. So we'll be back in a flash. We are back here for the top of turn 4 for the Marines, and this was just all around bad any way you looked at it. As you can see, we have 3 full boats sitting out here in the ocean because I think we rolled, what, like 2 5s and a 6 to get these guys on the table, so they're just kind of sitting out there, got their fishing poles out, not really interested in getting on here and getting into the fight. For the movement, we moved up the 1 platoon here, we were able to unpin. The red platoon in the middle was also able to unpin. As you can see, they're not there anymore. We'll get that in a second. We were able to push them up. Between the flamethrower, some rifle fire, and a bazooka, we were only able to kill 1 base, but we did pin that unit. We fired our bazooka into the bunker, but we failed to do anything. And then down here, we fired a bunch of rifle shots and our bazooka into the machine gun nest down there. We weren't able to do anything to that and plucked out no casualties. We did bring in the plane over there to do some damage. Between the plane, the 2 sets of mortars down here, and then our offshore artillery between the gunboats, we got a couple hits, but we did not pluck off 1 base. So pretty good turn for Neil, pretty horrible turn for us offensively. So we'll be back in a second for bottom of turn 4 for the Japanese. Yeah, this might get ugly, so we'll be back in a flash. So we are back for the bottom of turn 4 here for the Japanese. It's a fix. Neil failed to get his reserves, and we did get the plane in. In this turn, he pushed up his 1 platoon here to kind of set up a little fire base around that objective there. Between the bunkers, the rifle teams, and everything over here, well, these 2 bunkers, Neil was able to pluck off 1 of my rifle bases here. The cannon from that one was trying to hit the one I see, but missed on both of those. And then the other machine gun base up there fired down and plucked out 1 of our medium boarders here. Neil did get the plane in over here. Failed to range in on the light mortars over there, and I forgot to mention earlier, but Neil has there's like a little island or shoal over there where he gets a machine gun on that side of the table. So it's 24-inch range. He was able to pluck off 1 of our light mortar bases on that side. So this is what we're looking at right now. Hopefully we can get some of these boats to drop some troops off on the beach because we're looking a little bit thin. So we'll be back in a second for a top of turn 5 for the Marines, looking to make a push and take this trench line. So we'll be back in a flash. So we are back for the top of turn 5, I believe it is. On this turn, our boats, once again, we got 1 of the 3 on. All it was this turn was the heavy machine guns that we brought in the 1917s. In the movement phase, we were able to push up our 1 platoon over here of Marines. Between shooting and firing from them, we were able to, I think, pin. We didn't do any casualties over here. We were able to pin some of the units down over here, and then we had some assistance from the plane and I think some mortar bombardments over there. And we were able to pluck off 2 bases from that end. In the assault over here, it was a pretty bloody affair. We were able to take out the heavy machine gun nest, and then we were able to pretty much butcher a bunch of Japanese over there, but they did take out 4 of our bases in their counterattack. Neil had 1 survivor to kind of push back over there toward the bunker. We just kind of took the trenches up over here. So that's what we're looking at right now for the top of turn 5. these guys are looking over their shoulder right now, wondering where the hell the reserves are in the fortified position. It's looking a little loose over here, a little light on the troop side. So we'll see how things go here for bottom of turn 5 for the Japanese. So we are back for turn 6 for the Japanese. In this turn, Neil was able to unpin his guy sitting over here in the trench line. He was able to dig in this platoon that was over here on this objective, and then he brought in his heavy machine gun platoon from his reserves. The plane did not come in this turn. We're looking at casualties now and shooting. Over here between the, was it 75 millimeter? Inside that, and then the machine gun that's down there, Neil was able to, and the machine gun back over there, they were able to take out the 60 millimeter mortar platoon over here to a man, and then down here he fired a couple shots at the one IC that was here, and he was able to take out the heavy machine gun because we decided to attach him to that platoon. So some decent amount of casualties right here. If you look at the Marines, I think we have 10 bases on the beach right now, so hopefully we can get some craft on there and get some reinforcements up here, because there are a lot of Japanese going to start pushing in from that side of the jungle. So we'll be back in a second for top of turn 6 for the Marines. Hopefully the reinforcements start to come in. The very high seas here in the top of turn 6. Once again, we were able to get the one landing craft off the shore, and the other 2 were unable to get on. The choppy waters that prevented us now. It was like just 3 turns now. I think failing to get support onto the beach, so yeah, not looking good. We moved up the 1917s to help support these guys, hopefully in a couple turns. We ended up moving this platoon in here to get inside the trench line over here and just hold ground, I guess, for a couple turns till we can get some guys off the beach over there. For our support, we had bombardment over there, failed to range in, and then the plane was able to get one hit off and pin somebody, but Neil made his save. So as of right now, the assault is slowed down drastically right now, and we got hopefully we can just hold that bunker line right there until we get some reserves in here, because the Japanese force is it's going to get ugly. Just more and more troops are going to start showing up. So we'll be back in a second for bottom of turn 6 for the Japanese. See what happens. We are back now for bottom of turn 6 for the Japanese. In this turn, Neil unpinned these guys over here. Or they already were unpinned. I can't remember, but yeah, they're good now. Back here, the other 3rd platoon of Japanese infantry automatically came onto the table, and these guys were now supported by the heavy machine guns. Over here, we had some shuffling to help support that bunker a little bit more, and then that's pretty much all that happened here. No shooting or anything like that. So we'll be back in a second for top of turn 7. Hopefully the seamen can learn how to do their thing on the waters. We'll see how it goes. So I think we're due.
Guardsmen.
Jeff, I think we're due. We're due for some decent dice going our way. So we'll be back in a second for top turn 7 for the Marines. We are back here for the top of turn 7. Made a little bit of progress here. We got one of our platoons on the beach finally. We got the one stranded boat off the beach. But then down there, what is that? Is that a gunny and light machine guns?
You're still fishing for
yes, still fishing back there. For our shooting up here, the machine guns up here were able to pluck out the one infantry base that was there. I just ended up moving up the trench because of it. And then down over here, between the plane and artillery bombardment, we were able to pluck off one more, but Neil made his motivation to keep those guys on the table, so they're still stuck in the fight over there. I assaulted the empty position there, and just kind of positioned myself along the along the trenches to make an assault on that bunker, hopefully next turn. So this is what we're looking at for the Marines. Slowly getting reinforcements in here, but we got some ground to cover. We only got, what, 5 turns left until we got to take both of these objectives. So we'll be back in a second for bottom of turn 7 for the Japanese.
Bullseye! Which are actually little trees.
So we are back for the bottom of turn 7 here for the Japanese. In this turn, Neil decided to start positioning his guys up here along the jungle tree line on the backside over there. He failed to dig in his heavy machine guns over here, and then back here he started to reposition along the trench line over there. For shooting, they fired one shot down here into the heavy machine gun team, and then the 75 mil was able to kill one of my rifle bases over here down the trench line. The plane did not come in this turn. So that's what we're looking at here for Japanese bottom of turn 7. We'll be back in a second for top of turn 8 for the Americans. Hopefully we can at least get one objective and then maybe try to make a push late. So we'll be back in a flash. We are back here for the top of turn 8. Things are starting to work out for us as far as the beachhead. We got another platoon on the beach over here. We got our light machine gun platoon over there. The heavy machine guns are able to push up now because they don't have anything to really worry about chewing them up. We also got all of our boats were able to go back into the ocean. Up over here with some support fire from the machine guns, able to pin that nest, and then we had my platoon that was here was able to push up. We were able to take out the bunker in close combat. We were able to take out 2 of the bases in close combat over there, and then we did take a couple of heavy casualties. We lost 3 guys. Well, we lost 2 guys, and then I failed morale with the remainder of that platoon, but I do have the 2 IC who's left over here. Neil has his 1 IC over there. Got a nice stare down over the objective. You're going to get risky with this one? So I guess that's a yes. We will be seeing a bonsai charge over here. So we'll be back in a second for bottom of turn 8 for the Japanese. There's still a lot of guys sitting in that jungle, so we'll see how it plays out. Be back in a flash. So we are back here for the bottom of turn 8 for the Japanese. In this turn, Neil pulled back his 1 IC who was pinned from the close combat before and put him into the jungle. And the Japanese decided to just fortify this objective sitting in here behind the trees. There's a lot of guys that we're going to have to pluck out. We got 3 more turns for us to do something about it, though, so we'll see how it plays out. We got Marines coming back, top of turn 9. Hopefully we can get some of these boys up the beach with a quickness. So we'll be back in a flash. So we are back here for top of turn 9. We're starting to pour on the beach over here. I don't know if it's going to be too late, though. We're kind of looking at it. It's going to be close. So we pushed up our 1 platoon here. Our 3rd platoon ended up coming back in over here. We went at the double to the trench lines up over here. I was able to unpin with the 2 IC and move them in through the trenches to get that objective over there. The heavy machine guns pushed up over here. Our observer pushed up. The light machine guns pushed up. And we got some mortars over here. So we're trying to get everybody into position for probably going to be a big assault turn 11 and 12, hopefully. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think the plane or any of the artillery is going to be able to range in and do anything at this point. So we'll be back in a flash. Back for bottom of turn 9. Here we go. The Japanese. So Neil, obviously still bottling up over there. The 1 IC is working his way back to reunite with the rest of the company over here. For the shooting phase, the 1 machine gun nest that was over there and the other one that was from the little island over here, they just ripped up the light machine gun platoon that was down here. I think it took us down to 1 base, and then Jeff decided just to retreat them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a tactical retreat there for the light machine guns as far as that goes. That's all the shooting that we had go off this turn, and movement, everything was a pretty quick turn altogether. So we'll be back in a second for top of turn 10 for the Marines. Get these guys in position, make 1 last assault on the objective. So we'll be back in a flash. So we are back for the top of turn 10 for the Marines. We have pushed our way into the jungle. Same thing with the 1917 machine guns. 2 ICs just sitting there holding that objective. And then back over here, we got some guys working their way up the beach as far as the mortars and everything go. And our other platoon is pushed up to the trench line. The way it looks right now is we're going to have probably 1 charge to make a dent in the Japanese line over there. And then after that happens, we're going to leave it up to the dice. We'll just see what ends up happening. So we'll be back in a second for bottom 10 for the Japanese. We'll be back in a flash. All right, so we are back here for the bottom of turn 10 for the Japanese. All Neil did was shuffle up to get his guys in the best position for defensive fire over here and get ready for the assault that's going to be coming next turn. Nothing else really to talk about at this point, so we'll be back in a second for top of turn 11 for the Marines. This is the big charge right here, so we'll see how things play out. Be back in a flash.
Semper Fi!
We are back for the top of turn 11. We were able to get our 1 platoon that was hanging out in the ocean, the last platoon to get on the beach. They were able to get up, get the assault off. We were able to pin them, so we walked into 26 dice worth of defensive fire, and we ended up taking 8 hits, 4 dead on the charge, ended up breaking it off. So the Japanese are able to hold the beach at this point. Marines are still piling in, but this is something that'll end up happening tomorrow. So we'll be back in a second to go over the end of game recap.
I'm from Fresno, champ.
We'll be back in a second to go over end of game
The
recap.
Japanese were able to hold the jungle.
The jungle, not the beach. So back in a second to go over end of game recap and then just kind of break down how the game played out. We are back for the end of game recap for the Battle of Bougainville beach assault. I guess I'll start first and I'll hand it over to Jeff. I ended up dealing with I had all the rifle platoons as my guys. So as the way we had it planned, the way the drift was, it was coming down this way as far as the current goes. So the plan was to get most of our rifle teams up from the middle and to this side of the table and really push over there. So we were able to get to the bunker line, get our assault off, but since we were just piecemealing it up that table for the most part, we were just getting platoons up there that were just whittled down. Like we lost, one platoon early. The second platoon was able to get up there and take the trench line. And then with the lack of our boats bringing even more reserves in to help support these guys, we weren't even able to make like a serious push after we were able to take the trench line. And I think that really killed us late game because we weren't able to get a force in mass and make a push on that back table edge over there. And I know over here on this side, we were able to get some support units in over on the middle. But unfortunately, since there was nothing else around and they were just getting whittled down by some of these bunkers and that offshore machine gun nest over there. So it was pretty tough going. Our dice, I don't want to say we're bad because we were rolling 5s and 6s. So the dice were good. They were just good in the wrong situations. So I don't know, Jeff, what were you thinking as far as how this thing played out as our push went up the beach?
I would say that this demonstrates the need for amphibious tracks.
Yeah, yeah, that would have helped a little bit. Definitely would have helped a little bit. Yeah, I think, like I said, the boats. I think the boats were they were a bane of our battle plan. We were able to get some on the beach, but then they wouldn't go back and pick guys up. And then we had Gunny floating around there with his fishing rod, not finding a good place to pull ashore and do anything. And I don't know, Neil, what were you thinking as far as how your defense went?
I think this does show the power of a couple of bunkers. I was really able to do a lot more damage with the bunker line than I ever would have anticipated because they were having trouble getting their landing craft to the shore with troops on it, which reflects the actual battle where the seas were very high seas, hell or high water, and a lot of the Marine landing craft went down on the way in. And then just by massing everything on one objective, since he had to take both of them,
yeah, that was.
I was able to make it pretty. So I'd have to say that it wasn't so much a Japanese win as a United States loss.
Thanks for putting it on us, Neil. Greatly appreciate that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. Like I said, this is version 3. We'll be doing some version 4 stuff probably in the upcoming weeks. But hit the like or subscribe buttons, leave a comment, let us know what you guys thought, and we'll catch you guys later.